Call me crazy, but as of right now when I'm speaking and filming this video, I would take Coach Penny Hardaway over Coach Cal at Kentucky. Memphis and Emoni Bates is a fascinating situation. At the beginning of the year, Memphis wasn't playing that good, Penny Hardaway was getting criticized, and Emoni, on the other hand, he was playing pretty bad. I already know and understand before some of you run to the comments that Emoni, he's a young guy and technically he's supposed to be a senior in high school. About a month ago I made a video and it was titled "What Happened to Emoni Bates?" and here was my counter argument to those conversations. Yes, Emoni's young and yes, he should be playing in high school, but he's been labeled as the chosen one ever since he was 14 years old. The only other player who's been this highly regarded coming out of high school and also on the cover of Sports Illustrated is LeBron James. So when you are in the conversation with LeBron James and you don't live up to the hype and expectations, it doesn't matter if you're 16 or 17 years old, you're going to get criticized. Should it be that way? Yes, I think it should, and here's why. Similar to LeBron, Kevin Durant, whoever you want to look at, when they do have these heavy expectations, they're going to get a ton of praise when they play good. But on the contrary, they're going to get a ton of criticism when they play bad. It's the same thing with the quarterback in college football or the quarterback in the NFL. If your quarterback isn't that good but he's winning games, nobody's going to say that much about him and he's going to get a lot of love. But if your quarterback isn't that good and he's losing games, that's when fans are going to start to get on his neck. Ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly what was happening with Memphis and Emoni. It was a perfect example of what I would label a compound effect. Bates was playing bad, and to go along with that, they were also losing games, so it's magnified. Whereas if he's playing bad and they're winning games, you don't really say too much because hey, you're winning, there's nothing to complain about. It also doesn't help that Memphis is a basketball school and they have a culture, not exactly, but it's similar to Kentucky's. They don't care if you're 18 or 24 playing college basketball. They expect to win. Speaking of 18 and 24, I know Emoni's 18, but I also think one of the star players for Memphis is also 24. I just now thought about that and I'm not even sure if that's 100% right. Let me know in the comment section if you know. Getting a move on, if you keep up with Bates or basketball in general, you would know that he left the team about 10 to 12 games ago. When he left Memphis, this team wasn't even in the conversation for making the NCAA tournament. Fast forward in time, there was a stretch where Memphis was 10-1 without Bates on their team. It was almost like as soon as he left, the rest of the team, they started playing better and they was a better overall team. It wasn't just talent. There's a difference from being a talented team and a good team. That's why I think you see all these NBA super teams when they don't work out. It goes to show you that talent alone, it doesn't win you ball games. What's going to win you games and make you a great team is that chemistry you build over time. The biggest part about chemistry is that every player on their team, I'm not talking about 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, but 10 out of 10 players have to know their role, they have to like it, and they have to accept it. All it takes is for one bad apple to ruin the bunch. If one guy doesn't like his role, it's just going to be a domino effect. You don't need 3 to 4 ball dominant scorers on every single team because it just wouldn't work out. It kind of felt like whenever Emoni left, the rest of the team, they started to build that chemistry that they didn't have. Coincidence? I think not. I gotta be honest, I like Emoni. I love watching him play because he brings that passion and intensity to the game that you love to see. It makes it entertaining to watch, and oh yeah, he's really good at basketball. I like seeing good basketball, and I like seeing players with passion. However, as much as I do like him, I hate to even say this, it's not a coincidence Memphis started winning all these games when he left. It was very clear that he was the problem, and if you disagree, you're just wrong. He was hurting Memphis more than he was helping the team. He would take terrible shots, he wasn't that great of a defender, and you could go on and on. He shot a low percentage from the overall field, and he shot a low percentage from the three-point line. Turned the ball over, etc., etc., you get the point. Then what do you know, he leaves the team, and some of these older guys, they start to take over and start playing real basketball. Yo, Matt, what do you mean by playing real basketball? It's simple. Instead of going down on offense and doing an isolation and taking a fadeaway, they started running real and legit offensive plays. Everybody on the team was touching the ball, they was throwing it to Jalen Duren in the post, and he was going off. They had a good flow to the game, and they was building that chemistry, and you could see it every night. I don't think your casual fans understand that Memphis, the team that just lost to Gonzaga, They're not your normal 9 seed. They were playing like a 3 or 4 seed, maybe even a 2 seed going into the tournament. You can say or believe what you want, but everybody that has some decent IQ and knowledge, you know that wasn't your normal 9 seed. The reason they were only a 9 seed is because at the beginning of the year, they were playing like a 9 seed, if not worse. So I get it, you can't judge them off of their last 9 or 10 games, you gotta look at their full body of work. The main difference though in Memphis at the beginning of the year and the end of the year is at the beginning, they just had talent, they didn't have chemistry. At the end of the year, they started to put the pieces together. I'm gonna tell you right now, Gonzaga was fortunate to beat them, and nobody, I mean nobody, would want to play this Memphis team right now. They went toe to toe with the #1 ranked team Gonzaga, and I don't even feel like they played that good. And by they, I'm referring to Memphis. They were struggling at times on offense, and they couldn't stop Drew Timme. He had a game of his life. I say the game of his life, but he's done that multiple times in the tournament. The game is really besides the point. We're going to talk about Emoni. He came back for the NCAA tournament, and many people didn't even think he'd play, but he played in the first game against Boise State. It is key to note he was on a minutes restriction, and I can't even believe he got in the game, but when he was in there, it looked like he's been playing all along. He didn't skip a single beat, and you could see the spark and energy he brought to the team off of the bench. Against Boise State, he only took one shot. It was a 3-pointer, but he made it. Then against Gonzaga, due to foul trouble, he was playing more than expected. He played 12 minutes and went 2 for 7 from the field. He finished with 5 points and went 1 for 5 on threes. Throw all the stats away, what I saw out of him was insanely impressive. He came into big-time games, and he was more confident than any player on the court. That's what caught me off guard the most, and that is so rare for anybody to do, and you got to take into account, once again, I'm going to emphasize it, he's only 18 years old and should be playing high school basketball. And it's not the fact that he was just shooting, but you could tell he was wanting the ball. The Emoni we saw in the tournament, that's what we expected to see all throughout the season. I don't know where he's been. Maybe it's because his role on the team at the beginning of the year was too big and he should have been coming off of the bench. Me sitting up here talking about it, it doesn't do it any justice. It's hard. It's hard to go from high school where you're scoring 35 points a game, then to go to college and not shoot a lot. It's hard to go from a level of basketball where people have told you your entire life you're the best thing since sliced bread, and then you get to a D1 powerhouse in Memphis and everybody there is just like you. Everybody at Memphis was one of the top players at their high school, so you're not too much different. And last but not least, it is extremely difficult to try to fit in with a team like that. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And Emoni finished the season in a great way. I think we can all agree, or at least most of us can agree, the future is bright. I'm viewing his career so far like a boxer. He knew going into college when he should really be in high school, he was going to take a lot of body shots. He knew there was going to be lumps in the road and it wasn't going to be all rainbows and butterflies and sunshines. I know I said that quote wrong, but whatever, you know how it goes. I believe he got the most difficult and the hardest season out of his way, and it's only going to be up from here. It's time to be honest about Emoni, and the honest truth is that the talent is there, we know that. It's just a matter of time before he puts it all together. How long will it take? Can he put it together next year? Will it take 2 years, maybe 3 years? That's the biggest question. It will happen, and I'm 100% confident in that. I just don't know when. One thing I've always noticed in him throughout his entire career, dating back to high school, he's a flamethrower. If he makes 2 to 3 shots in a row, you better look out. Heck, I even saw last night he made 1 shot and he was calling for the ball and feeling himself. He is beyond confident in his abilities, and that's what I love most about his game, because that shows me that he's been putting in the work behind the scenes. Getting back on topic with Memphis as an entire team and unit, here's the truth about them. And also Penny Hardaway, because remember, he was getting criticized heavily at the beginning of the year, and he told everybody, hey, you gotta be patient, and I guess he was right. Hardaway is what I would like to call a player coach, and if I had to play for anyone right now, it'd be him. I love everything about him. As a former athlete myself, I can see it. He relates to his players, and you can actually go up to him and have a conversation during the game. He's not always screaming at you, and he doesn't yank you after missing 1 or 2 shots, and I wish every coach was like that. Call me crazy, but as of right now, when I'm speaking and filming this video, I would take Coach Penny Hardaway over Coach Cal at Kentucky. Hardaway gets more out of his players. Coach Calipari, he just has talent and he relies on them. He doesn't do a lot of in-game coaching. And that's my opinion. We don't have to agree, but if I had to pick one coach to have on my team or who I'd play for, it'd be Hardaway. He knows the game, and I'm not saying that Calipari doesn't know the game, but he's past his time. The Memphis basketball team and program, they're on the rise, and remember, they have Emoni coming back next year. They're going to be a scary team to deal with. The sad part about it, you do lose Jalen Duren and a couple other players, but they should be okay. What about O'Duren though? I love watching him play. He's an absolute beast. Emoni's going to be okay. We just got to give him a little more time and relax and be patient. Let me know your thoughts on this down below, but to what all being said, that's all I'm on your beast.